Bill Gates' father was a prominent lawyer, and his mother served on the board of directors for First Interstate Bank System and the United Way of America. Gates's maternal grandfather was J. W. Maxwell, a national bank president. Early in his life, Gates observed that his parents wanted him to pursue a law career. Gates was small for his age and was bullied as a child. At 13, he enrolled in the private Lakeside Prep School, where he wrote his first software program. When he was in the 8th grade, the Mothers Club at the school used proceeds from Lakeside School's rummage sale to buy a teletype Model 33ASR terminal and a block of computer time on a General Electric G computer for the students. Gates took an interest in programming the G system in BASIC, and he was excused from math classes to pursue his interest. He wrote his first computer program on this machine, an implementation of tic-tac-toe that allowed users to play games against the computer. Gates was fascinated by the machine and how it would always execute software code perfectly. After the Mothers Club donation was exhausted, Gates and other students sought time on systems including DEC PDP mini computers. One of these systems was a PDP-10 belonging to Computer Center Corporation CCC, which banned Gates, Paul Allen, Rick Weiland, and Gates's best friend and first business partner Kent Evans for the summer after it caught them exploiting bugs in the operating system to obtain free computer time. The 4 students formed the Lakeside Programmers Club to make money. At the end of the ban, they offered to find bugs in CCC software in exchange for extra computer time, rather than using the system remotely via teletype. Gates went to CCC's offices and studied source code for various programs that ran on the system, including Fortran, Lisp, and machine language. The arrangement with CCC continued until 1970 when the company went out of business. The following year, a Lakeside teacher enlisted Gates and Evans to automate the school's class scheduling system, providing them computer time and royalties in return. The duo worked diligently in order to have the program ready for their senior year. At 17, Gates formed a venture with Allen called Trafodata to make traffic counters based on the Intel 8008 processor. In 1972, he served as a congressional page in the House of Representatives. He was a National Merit Scholar, and he graduated from Lakeside School in 1973. He scored 1590 out of 1600 on the Scholastic Aptitude Test SAT and enrolled at Harvard College in the autumn of 1973. Gates devised an algorithm for pancake sorting as a solution to one of a series of unsolved problems presented in a combinatorics class by Professor Harry Lewis. His solution held the record as the fastest version for over 30 years, and its successor is faster by only 2%. His solution was formalized and published in collaboration with Harvard computer scientist Christos Papadimitriou. In 1975, the MIT's Altair 8800 was released, based on the Intel 8080 CPU, and Gates and Allen saw the opportunity to start their own computer software company. Gates dropped out of Harvard that same year. His parents were supportive of him after seeing how much he wanted to start his own company. He explained his decision to leave Harvard. "If things hadn't worked out, I could always go back to school. I was officially on leave." Gates read the January 1975 issue of Popular Electronics, which demonstrated the Altair 8800, and he contacted Microinstrumentation and Telemetry Systems MITS to inform them that he and others were working on a basic interpreter for the platform. In reality, Gates and Allen did not have an Altair and had not written code for it. They merely wanted to gauge MITS's interest. MITS president Ted Roberts agreed to meet them for a demonstration, and over the course of a few weeks they developed an Altair emulator that ran on a mini computer, and then the basic interpreter. The demonstration was held at MITS's offices in Albuquerque, New Mexico. It was a success and resulted in a deal with MITS to distribute the interpreter as Altair Basic. MITS hired Allen, and Gates took a leave of absence from Harvard to work with him at MITS in November 1975. Allen named their partnership Microsoft, a combination of microcomputer and software, and their first office was in Albuquerque. The first employee Gates and Allen hired was their high school collaborator Rick Weiland. They dropped the hyphen within a year and officially registered the trade name Microsoft with the Secretary of the State of New Mexico on November 26, 1976. Gates never returned to Harvard to complete his studies. Microsoft's Altair Basic was popular with computer hobbyists, but Gates discovered that a pre-market copy had leaked out and was being widely copied and distributed. In February 1976, he wrote an open letter to hobbyists in the MIT's newsletter in which he asserted that more than 90% of the users of Microsoft Altair Basic had not paid Microsoft for it, and the Altair hobby market was in danger. To produce, distribute, and maintain high-quality software. This letter was unpopular with many computer hobbyists, but Gates persisted in his belief that software developers should be able to demand payment. Microsoft became independent of MIT's in late 1976, and it continued to develop programming language software for various systems. Gates said he personally reviewed and often rewrote every line of code that the company produced in its first 5 years. As the company grew, he transitioned into a manager role, then an executive. Donkey Bus is a computer game written in 1981 and included with early versions of the PC-DOS operating system, distributed with the original IBM PC. It is a driving game in which the player must avoid hitting donkeys. The game was written by Gates and Neil Conzen. IBM, the leading supplier of computer equipment to commercial enterprises at the time, approached Microsoft in July 1980 concerning software for its upcoming personal computer, the IBM PC. After Bill Gates's mother, Mary Maxwell Gates, mentioned Microsoft to John Opel, IBM's CEO, IBM first proposed that Microsoft write the BASIC interpreter. IBM's representatives also mentioned that they needed an operating system, and Gates referred them to Digital Research Tree, makers of the widely used CP/M operating system. IBM's discussions with Digital Research went poorly, however, and they did not reach a licensing agreement. IBM representative Jack Sams mentioned the licensing difficulties during a subsequent meeting with Gates and asked if Microsoft could provide an operating system. A few weeks later, Gates and Allen proposed using 86DOS, an operating system similar to CP/M that Tim Patterson of Seattle Computer Products SCP had made for hardware similar to the PC. Microsoft made a deal with SCP to be the exclusive licensing agent of 86DOS, and later the full owner. Microsoft employed Patterson to adapt the operating system for the TC and delivered it to IBM as PC-DOS for a one-time fee of $50,000. The contract itself only earned Microsoft a relatively small fee. It was the prestige brought to Microsoft by IBM's adoption of their operating system that would be the origin of Microsoft's transformation from a small business to the leading software company in the world. Gates had not offered to transfer the copyright on the operating system to IBM because he believed that other personal computer makers would clone IBM's PC hardware. They did, making the IBM-compatible PC running DOS a de facto standard. The sales of MS-DOS, the version of DOS sold to customers other than IBM, made Microsoft a major player in the industry. The press quickly identified Microsoft as being very influential on the IBM PC. TC magazine asked if Gates was the man behind the machine. Gates oversaw Microsoft's company restructuring on June 25, 1981, which reincorporated the company in Washington state, and made Gates the president and chairman of the board, with Paul Allen as vice president and vice chairman. In early 1983, Allen left the company after receiving a Hodgkin lymphoma diagnosis, effectively ending the formal business partnership between Gates and Allen, which had been strained months prior due to a contentious dispute over Microsoft equity. Microsoft and Gates launched their first retail version of Microsoft Windows on November 20, 1985, in an attempt to fend off competition from Apple's Macintosh GUI, which had captivated consumers with its simplicity and ease of use. In August of the following year, the company struck a deal with IBM to develop a separate operating system called OS/2. Although the two companies successfully developed the first version of the new system, the partnership deteriorated due to mounting creative differences. The operating system grew out of DOS in an organic fashion over a decade until Windows 95, which hid the DOS prompt by default. Windows XP, released 1 year after Gates stepped down as Microsoft CEO, was the first to not be based on DOS. Windows 8.1 was the last version of the OS released before Gates left the chair of the firm to John W. Thompson on February 5, 2014. Gates has a multi-billion-dollar investment portfolio with stake in various sectors and has participated in several entrepreneurial ventures beyond Microsoft, including AutoNation, automotive retailer that Gates has a 16% stake in, trading on the NYSE, DGC3 LLC, a think tank and research company founded by Gates, Canadian National Railway CN, a Canadian Class 1 freight railway, as of 2019. Gates is the largest single shareholder of CN stock, Cascade Investment LLC, a private investment and holding company incorporated in the United States. Founded and controlled by Gates and headquartered in Kirkland, Washington, Gates is the top private owner of farmland in the United States, with land holdings owned via Cascade Investment totaling 242,000 acres across 19 states. He is the 49th largest private owner of land in the U.S. Carbon Engineering, a for-profit venture founded by David Keith, which Gates helped fund. It is also supported by Chevron Corporation and Occidental Petroleum. ScopeX, Keith's academic venture in sun-dimming geoengineering, which Gates provided most of the $12 million for. Corbis, originally named Interactive Home Systems, and now known as Branded Entertainment Network, a digital image licensing and rights services company founded and chaired by Gates. Earthnow, Seattle-based startup company aiming to blanket the Earth with live satellite video coverage. Gates is a large financial backer. Eclipse Aviation, a defunct manufacturer of very light jets, Gates was a major stakeholder early on in the project. Impossible Foods, a company that develops plant-based substitutes for meat products, some of the $396 million. Patrico Brown collected for his business came from Gates around 2014 to 2017. Ecolab, global provider of water, hygiene and energy technologies and services to the food, energy, healthcare, industrial and hospitality markets, combined with the shares owned by the foundation. Gates owns 11.6% of the company. A shareholder agreement in 2012 allowed him to own up to 25% of the company, but this agreement was removed. ResearchGate, a social networking site for scientists, Gates participated in a $35 million round of financing, along with other investors. TerraPower, a nuclear reactor design company co-founded and chaired by Gates, which is developing next-generation traveling wave reactor nuclear power plants in an effort to tackle climate change. Breakthrough Energy Ventures, a closed fund for wealthy individuals who seek grow on a 20-year horizon, which is funding green startups and a host of other low-carbon entrepreneurial projects, including everything from advanced nuclear technology to synthetic breast milk. It was founded by Gates in 2015. Ginkgo Bioworks, a biotech startup that received $350 million in venture funding in 2019, in part from Gates's investment firm Cascade Investment. Luminous Computing, a company that develops neuromorphic photonic integrated circuits for AI acceleration. Malogic, British diagnostic technology company that Gates purchased, along with the Soros Economic Development Fund, which has developed 10-minute COVID lateral flow tests that it aims to make for as little as $1. Please do not forget to like and subscribe for more content like this.